Hey boys and girls, Instant Hero here, and today I am going to show you some of the recording software that I use to make my YouTube videos. I've had a question or two from one or two of the people that follow me, and they were interested in what it is that I use to record my gaming as well as my live stream and some of the other things I do. So um, everything that I use is freeware. And the reason I do that is because I'm not a professional YouTuber. I do an amateur YouTube, and recently I stopped doing monetization, so I don't make any money off this stuff. I just do it because I enjoy gaming, and I enjoy showing people what I do when I'm gaming. So to start out, I use Windows Movie Maker. And Windows Movie Maker it's very basic. The link is right here in the top, and I'll put that in the comment section below. But let's go ahead and open it up, and you just download it. And basically, what you have is you drag your recorded video from your recording software into here, and let's see if I can pull one up real quick that I've already done. And let's see. Let's grab this one right here. So we'll just grab this one. Takes a few minutes for it to come up. Prepares your files. Once the files are prepared, then you have splicing tools where you can edit stuff out. Um, you can change your wave. You can show your waveforms for your audio. If you record audio separately, you can patch that in here and then synchronize it up. Um, you can emphasize whether you want to do narration, the video, music, no emphasis whatsoever, which is just the raw recording. Add visual effects, which is kind of like sepia tone, or if you want to colorize your video or make it black and white. I've never actually used those. And then animations, these are for your cutscenes where you have dissolves and page turns and stuff like that. So and then once you get everything set up and you got it where you want, you just go over here to save movie. And some of the settings that I use for high definition display, um, it'll actually give you some options. So you can do recommended for this product, and then it goes 1920 by 1080. I use an average bit rate of around 2425, but that makes a huge file. As you can see, it's like 172 megabits per minute. So that can usually make you a huge file. And then I use another program to size that file down. And let's get out of here. So here's your download link. Download that, install it like you would any other program. And that's how you edit your movie. It makes pretty rough edits. There's better editing software out there. One of the other ones that's out there is you've got ASDC free video editor. This one here is a little bit harder to use. If you're really good at video editing, then this would be the one you use. But I don't really have time to learn this stuff for this particular one. But this it's just a whole lot more. It's just you have more tools with this. This is freeware as well. This is the free editor, and if you're interested in that, just send me a message online, and I'll send you the link for that thing. So, but my primary recording software is Open Broadcaster, and I'll give you this. And I just download the latest stable version. I'm actually probably a few versions behind, just because I guess I'm up to 657. This one here, it's extremely easy to set up. It doesn't take a whole lot to do the setups on that, and they have a great tutorial on here on how to do the quick start guide right here, and it gives you pretty much everything you need to do. And I would show you, but I'm recording with the software right now, so it doesn't really work all that well. So remember I told you after you make all your movie edits, then I use HandBrake, and what HandBrake does is HandBrake allows me to take the file and over here to my YouTube. So we'll pull this up and pull HandBrake back up real quick. And so I've got some files that are pretty big. So here's one of my Minecraft Season 1. So all these files have been edited down. So let's take this one for instance, this is 2.3 gigabytes, right? And I just drag this guy into here. right? So once I drag this guy into here, it says it's ready. Then I'm going to click a place to save it. And I've already got this one saved. So we'll just call it test. Okay. All right. So you go over here to video, and you got, this is the only setting on this whole thing that you actually need to change. And you just drag this over to 25. Okay. And what this will do is, after you click start, it'll take this guy. It takes about 5 minutes or so to decode, and we'll swap ahead. So time lapse now. All right, and we got about 30 seconds left on this thing, and you can see by the progress bar down here on the bottom that it's processing at about 80 to 90 frames per second with an average frame per second of 84.4. So now the original video was recorded at 1080p 60 frames per second. So it does a little bit of over processing. I don't quite understand the whole math behind it, but basically what it's doing is it's compressing this video file into a better quality but a smaller file, so you don't lose any of the visuals of it. It still maintains 1080p at 60 frames per second, and it actually makes for a very clear video but much smaller. So if we take a look in comparison from the original one, which was 2.3 gigahertz or gigabytes, 2.3 gigabytes, right, at a length of about 17-18 minutes, and then we go over to our test, we now have a 494 megabyte file with the same length. So it reduces the file size considerably, and what that does is that minimizes the time to upload to YouTube and then for processing. It also changes it to an MP4 file or an M4V depending on which you want. And I've had good luck with both on YouTube. Generally, it converts it over anyways, but the M4V seems to go a little bit faster in the conversion process. So there you have it. HandBrake's probably the best tool that I have on here because it takes all of my files that are super huge and just kind of puts them into a manageable file size, reduces my upload times, and then it just makes it easier for encoding. So when I first started, just putting the raw file in there after getting Windows Movie Maker done, it would take about 45 minutes on my connection just to upload the video and process it. And now I can do the same thing with HandBrake in under 10 minutes. So from the time I drag it over to YouTube until it posts, it's generally about 10-15 minutes. So I'm going to go to minimize this, and I'm going to show you some of the tools that I use to maintain my computer. And this is always a good idea to use these tools. So what I have here is I've got Piriform's website, and on Piriform you've got a bunch of freeware tools that allow you to clean your computer, keep it maintenanced up, and these are all scripts you want to run sometimes on a weekly basis, like CCleaner here. I use that on a weekly basis just to keep my files clean, and I think I just ran it, but we'll go ahead and pull it up. So what CCleaner does is it has a couple of different tools. So it's got just a cache cleaner and a log file cleaner, and I don't really mess with these advanced things unless I'm just doing a deep clean. But for the most part, this first section, the second section, and then the Windows Explorer portion, minus the network passwords if you save passwords, and then some of the system cache files and dump files. So it's super easy. Click Run Cleaner, click OK. It'll go through, no, because I'm using Google Chrome right now, so I click no, and then bam, it cleans really quick. And look, got rid of temporary files, log files, so this will help keep your system kind of cleaned up. And then for the second tab, you've got this registry tab. So what this does is anytime you install or uninstall a program, it leaves behind old registry keys that just kind of junk up your system and doesn't really hurt performance, but especially on some of the newer systems, but it's always a good idea to do. So you're going to scan through this. It's going to find anything in the system. See, I just cleaned it the other day, but it'll find old registry keys, and then you just go and you just fix selected issues, and then click Do Not Backup, and then click Fix All, and it just gets rid of all that junk. And then you've got an uninstaller here too, so you can uninstall. This is all my crazy programs in here. You can uninstall any one of these just by going through and clicking on it, click uninstall. It's a clean uninstaller, and then actually let's go ahead and uninstall something because I'm sure I've got one or two things in here that I really don't need. So let's see, what do I not use anymore? Let's see. Man, I got a lot of junk on here. I haven't used Milkshape in a long time, so we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that thing. So yep, uninstall, click next to continue, uninstall, and bam, done, right? Then we'll go up here to registry, and hopefully it'll kick those registry keys out from what I just uninstalled. See, there they are, bam. So it shows me all the paths that are left in my registry that I no longer need. So I'm going to click fix issues. I don't want to back up changes to the registry, and I'm going to go fix all issues. So what that does is that just deletes those registry keys. And then when you reboot, you have no issues. And then I usually run it twice just to make sure it didn't miss anything. But you can do this on a monthly basis or anytime you uninstall stuff. And then that's it. I mean, CCleaner is probably one of the better tools. I've been using it for about 2, 3, 4, at least since Windows 7 came out, and these guys came on the market. So that keeps me clean. And then, okay, also at Piriform, you've got this guy right here. And what Defraggler does is it's a disk defragmenter. Note of caution, if you have SSD drives, you don't need to defragment your drives. They do perfectly fine on their own, and it actually causes undue cycles on the chips in there. But for your old regular disk drives, and this thing, you can't beat it. It takes a couple hours to do, especially if you're super fragmented, but it works so much better than the Windows defragmenter, and it just keeps everything nice and running clean. And then also, you've got this guy right here, and what Recuvra does is this: if you accidentally delete something and you have this on your system, generally it will recover just about anything that's on there, as long as you do it within a set amount of time. You can't like wait a week or anything, but if you do it right away, man, it'll save you some heartache. But I use this every once in a while, like I accidentally delete something, because most of my stuff I just delete straight out. It doesn't go to the recycle bin. But this program will take hours to run because it scans everything on the drive. So you'd be amazed at what kind of crap you find on this stuff. So, all right, so this is basically all the tools that I use to keep my system up and running, and running smoothly. So we got Movie Maker. Absolutely free, a decent program. I wouldn't say it's the best by any means, but very easy to use, very intuitive. Edits and cuts are super simple. Generally, when you record with OBS, you're recording the audio at the same time, so there's no audio sync issues. Never, like when I first started doing recording, sometimes I would get sync issues between the audio and the video, but I chalked that up to the recording software I was using at the time, which I believe was Fraps. And I just wasn't entirely happy with it because it wouldn't record everything. With OBS, I have no issues. I set up different profiles for whether I'm live streaming and I'll show you some of those profiles real quick. So let's pull up our settings tab, and I'll drag this over. So this is your basic settings. You also have some scenes and sources settings, which I really can't go into right now because I'm using the recording software, but it gives you your encoding, which is 264 is the standard for YouTube videos. It gives you quality balance. These are pretty much all the settings that I use. So the max bit rate and the buffer size, those I set up for the broadcast settings or for the live stream. And it actually works out really well for just straight recording as well. So and then my audio encoding, I have it set to a higher bit rate and a higher format just for better stereo. Sometimes you get a little bit of echo with it, but that's probably because I have the noise gate set up incorrectly on my my microphone. So here's your broadcast settings. This is where for all your live stream, and I've got pretty much file output only, and it shows me where I'm saving to, which is I've got 4 drives on this computer. The D drive is kind of my junk drive, and then my live stream. And then my live stream, all I have to do is enable CBR under my encoding settings, and I don't do that normally because it makes it a little bit choppy for regular recording, but for live stream it's required. That way you get a smooth live stream, and then you can optimize that live stream for to minimize buffing or for maximum participation. So And it also backs up the files to my D drive so that I can post those things later on. So no, I haven't changed these settings. All right, so here's my video card settings. I use a custom resolution of 1920 by 1080, so my aspect ratio is automatically set from that. I can also do it to where I'm recording, like right now I'm recording just the monitor, so I'm actually just doing a monitor screen capture on my OBS. So from there, I set my frames per second at 60. And then this stuff right here is for downscale. So if I want to record at like 1440 and then downscale it to 1920, I could do that. I don't have 1440 capability on the two monitors that I have. And then audio gives me my default audio devices, which is my Realtek onboard card, and then the microphone that I use that's set up to my headset, right? And only show connected devices, obviously, that's kind of a no given. Push to talk delay, I don't use push to talk. I do use a little bit of boost on my microphone for the aux boost and the desktop boost, and that just gives it a little bit clearer sound. I don't have any hotkeys set up, but for broadcast and for start and stop recording, I use F12 because it doesn't interfere with anything. And for that, you just click on it, click the button you want to use, and then you click OK. For my advanced setting, I use multi-threaded optimizations. I have a multi-core processor, so why not use multi-threads? Priority classes puts it above normal, so I don't know if you've ever had a program that was kind of acting up, and you open up the task manager and you can right click on it and set the priority or the affinity. This just goes ahead and sets the process priority class for you so that it works above the game that you're playing, so that you get less stutter, fewer frame drops, stuff like that. And then, the rest of the stuff is all pretty much the way it came. So I use ultra fast high, keyframe intervals, CFR, and all these settings I have no idea about. So here's my encoder. Don't use it. No reason to. It comes blank. I believe this is one of the premium features, but I haven't had any problems. So the hardest thing to do is set your noise gate. So your noise gate for your microphone kind of takes care of some of the hissing and then some of the lower tones that might seep in. So this is just something you got to play with. 4133 seems to work out pretty well for me, and you can see as I'm talking that thing's jumping up and down. It's outside the noise gate, but it's capturing the audio within that noise gate. And this last thing, I've never used Scene Switcher, so I guess there's a plugin for it. I've never used it, so we'll go ahead and cancel that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull over, and this is gonna make your eyes go crazy because it's gonna multi-shed the desktop. But so you can see here, I've got my different settings, right? So as we're looking at this thing, I've got my 1080p gaming, I've got my live streaming, and then I got my Commodore 64, which is for the some of the old school games that I do. So the easiest way to do this is you can add these, right? And you got all these window capture, monitor capture, image, slideshow, text, video capture device, and game capture. So the two that I use the most is obviously monitor capture and then game capture. And the reason I don't use window capture is because if I'm using monitor capture, and you see how I'm dragging stuff on and off the screen, if I just use window capture, it's only going to capture that window that I'm using, right? And then you can order those things up and down, position and size, fit to screen, cropping, all that stuff, and then delete it and remove it. And then you can set the individual properties for it. So, I mean, that's basically it in a nutshell. That's basically everything there is. And you can see it's recording. We're at 24 minutes. I'm going to cut this down to about 12 or 15 or so. It shows me all my drop frame rates, shows me my steady frames per second, and then it shows me what my kilobytes per second speed is for the recording itself. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. There's not a whole lot to it. It's not rocket surgery, and for the most part, it creates some quality videos, and I can do just about anything I want with it. It's probably the best piece of freeware software that I've come across. So I highly recommend it. There's a bunch of YouTubers that I watch that are way more professional than I am and make money at this, and they use similar software. And I mean, that's about it. So I mean, any questions, definitely leave them in the comment section. I'll try and answer them as best I can. But that's it for now. So I'll see you guys next time.